This is the Unit 18 lesson. It starts on page 247 in the book, and it is about attitudes and opinions, which is so much fun. Let's get started. So if you go ahead and take a look, we're going to actually start with a grammar note that's on page 248. So some verbs will change their movement to show subject and object. So for example, when you have two of something versus many of something. So if we're in class right now and I've got these papers that I need to hand out to you, I have a paper that I can give to two people here. I have a paper that I'm going to give to all of you. Or you can give all of your papers to me. So that's just, again, it's reviewing that movement that we've learned with the verbs that we can do. So give and give you, give me, help you, help me, doing that kind of a thing again. Tell you, tell me, I'm going to tell all of you versus I'm going to tell one specific person. So it's just a little review on that. All right, skipping ahead, make sure you're doing these exercises and doing the practice sentences. Now let's look on page 251. There is a note there about expressing opinions, and he is saying at the very bottom, I detest it. So there are varying levels of showing like and dislike in sign language. So you can say, like, if you like something, maybe you enjoy it, maybe you really like it, or on your face you're showing you like it a lot. Facial expression is a really big one here. There's also varying dislike. So you can say not like, and that's kind of like the lightest, like, oh, I don't really like that. You can say, I don't like it this way. I don't like it. And that's a little bit more serious than the not like. Or you can say that you detest it. So that's coming, detest. That's the worst. And then even worse than that is probably awful. Awful. So it's kind of a scale there. Going through this, we're going to talk about a lot of this in the vocab. So most of this is on your own doing the practice sentences. And just making sure you're going through that. There is another grammar note on page 255 I want to talk about that talks about the quantifiers. So if you remember from Unit 7, quantifiers can show numbers of something. So if you have, like, I have many books lined up on a shelf. So we had many, several, a few, and some. So that was used either before or after the noun, so a little bit more review there as well. And that's what you would use, like I said, for books, cars, students, children. But there are other quantifiers that you can use for things such as like milk, food, money, and you would use different quantifiers because you wouldn't sign, I have many milk, because that just doesn't really make much sense. You can have many children, but you can't have many money, you know? So if you're going to use a quantifier for those, if you're saying that you have a lot of money, you would do plenty of money. Plenty of money. If you have some money, some money. If you have a little bit of milk, a little milk. Okay? And that's just described a little bit more for you on page 256 too, if you want to look at those pictures there. And then do that practice for 18C and figuring out which one you would use for furniture, pictures, water, which quantifier would work best there. All right, page 257 is where the vocab starts. So we have delicious, delicious. One from your mouth, one from neutral, dominance up here, 8 hand shape, and they kind of melt. Delicious. In the book, they're just doing one hand. Delicious. That's okay. I've always done it with 2. Delicious. Then we talked about detest. Detest. So throw up, detest. Similar meaning, kind of. Throw up, detest. Believe is that think, and then you go like this. believe. Remember we talked about like marriage. I think we've talked about believe before too. Believe, marriage, believe. Against, oppose, or con. That's kind of like the sign for sue as well. Against. I went against my better judgment and I had that extra piece of cake. Against. Support or pro. This could also be advocate as well. So your non-dominant's down at the bottom, supporting your, your dominant is at the bottom, supporting your non-dominant. Support. Advocate. Plenty. Take your non-dominant hand in a fist. Plenty. Plenty. Enough. Plenty. So remember, like good enough, that sign. Plenty. It's like your cup overflows. Plenty. A little. That's some review too. A little. World. So the English way to sign world is this way. World is just like year, but with W's. World. And this is still pretty commonly used. The more ASL way to sign that is world. Like a globe. World. Earth is earth. Well, they've got an open hand here. They kind of do that a lot with the open or closed. I always just did it with the closed. Non-dominant here, dominant in the 8 hand shape, and it kind of shakes. Earth. Earth or planet. If you want to say earthquake, earth shakes. Earthquake. Sun. There's a couple different signs for sun. You can do sun, or you can draw out the sun to come down. I always do it this way just because it's how I originally learned it from this book many, many years ago. Sun, or you might see sun. Moon is pretty common just this way. Moon. Moon. And then star. You got the stars. Remember that CL5 that we learned when we had a bunch of people coming together? If you were talking about the night sky and you're describing all the stars that you can see, you would do stars. All right, so there's another way to use that classifier. Land. Land. My hands are in like the flat O shape. Land. Land. Sky. Sky. This lesson just makes me feel very at peace. Land and sky and moon and stars. Ocean. You sign water first and then the waves. Ocean. Ocean. If you want to sign, oh, we'll get there. Never mind. Mountain. This is a repeat. So remember rock, mountain, mountain. Island. Island. The I is just on your non-dominant hand. They've got to open like this. I've learned it this way. It doesn't matter too much. River is water, river. So you kind of use like, remember we had street was straight through, and then water kind of like curves, like for river. Stream is just like, notice my mouth there. It got skinnier because the stream is skinnier. All right, article or column. Non-dominant hand is flat here. You take like a bent X, article. Article or column. Print or publish. Print. Remember we did print and newspaper. Print. Use or wear. The way that they're showing you in the book is not how I really see it signed. I see it this way. I'm just kind of doing like a circle, use this way, or use. Okay, so you can use or wear your clothes, or use or wear your clothes. I use like this. Use. Page 259. Play against and game. So we've got a noun verb pair here. So game is the noun, game. Play against. This is also like challenge. Like I can challenge you, you could challenge me, this team and this team are against each other. Yeah, there's that one. Next is show, play, drama, act, theater. So they're just saying that this means drama, show, act, theater. It doesn't mean like two people have drama and they, need to calm down because they're being really dramatic. This is acting. This is, you're going to the theater to see a play. Adopt. This is one we've already done too. So this is like to take up a class. Like I'm taking ASL 2 right now. I'm going to adopt a child. You can use it for either one. Born or give birth to. So what they're kind of showing you in the picture is that sign for arrive. Arrive. Remember that from a few weeks ago? Born is actually birth, like kind of like enter, like you entered the world. So birth, if you're very specifically talking about a woman is right now birthing a child and it is coming out, born. This is the head coming out right now. That is very specifically only used in that instance. Otherwise, birth. Okay, birth. Plus or in addition, this is another repeat. Plus, you can use this sign for and. I use this for like positive, like think positive, or positive numbers if you're talking about math. I bought a new coat and some boots. Plus. Strong or predominant. So strong. So we kind of talked about like right-handed and left-handed. So if you're right strong, that means that your dominant hand is your right. If you're left strong, that means you're left-handed. If you go to the gym a lot and you lift a bunch of weights, you're just strong. Okay, so strong. If you want to add a think before that, think strong, that means that you're confident. I'm confident. All right, percent. It's like a flat O, and you draw like that 7 shape. So remember like Chicago, Detroit, Muskegon, percent. Okay. Right, this is another repeat. Right, we had pencil and then right. Frequent, like patron, like I'm a patron to that bar. I go there a lot. I frequently am making lessons for ASL. Frequent, like again. I go to church every Sunday. Frequent. Attend to, pay attention to, focus on. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, pay attention to me. If you guys were all chatting right now in class and not paying attention to the lesson, I would say, warning, pay attention, or else. All right, 2 more on the next page, and then we are done. Page 260 has president, superintendent, and chancellor. President. President. Okay, so I use the sign when I interpret for the superintendent at school. Superintendent. I use that sign when I interpret for the president of the U.S. President. And then large or big is another repeat. Remember, you can have a big head and be arrogant. Maybe your shoulders are really broad, or there's just like big pizza, a big piece of pizza. It's almost lunchtime when I'm recording this video, so I'm getting hungry. Anyway, that is it. That is Unit 18.